Welcome to Keep What You Earn, a show for entrepreneurs and business owners who want to scale and build enterprise value without making costly mistakes. I'm your host, Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CFO and CPA who left a career serving Fortune 50 companies in Wall Street to help business owners just like you make life-changing wealth with your business. These episodes are meant to be super tactical and actionable, but please remember, consult your own financial professional before you implement anything you learn in this podcast. Now, if you'd be interested in working with us to do so, check out the show notes for more information about our company, Keep What You Earn Co. All right, let's start the show. It's that time of year again, but I'm not talking about the holidays, actually. I'm talking about that pre-holiday period of time where we think we're going to get so much done by the end of the year. We have, a couple months left and we're going, yeah, it should be no problem. I'll get all this stuff done. And every year we unintentionally lie to ourselves and we overestimate what we can get done by the end of the year. And I want you as a business owner to challenge yourself to slow down during this time and embrace the slowdown, not guilt yourself for slowing down, but actually slow down. But what will enable you to do that is to get a few things done, have a short to-do list by the end of the year. And specifically by, let's say, Thanksgiving, US Thanksgiving. If you can get the core things done, the big pieces, if you can eat the frog, if you will, before Thanksgiving, then you really can alleviate yourself from so much pressure, so much stress. It's already stressful enough at the end of the year, especially if you're hosting holidays and you have family over and you're spending time with people, and especially for us introverts, which I am, by the way, it's a lot of energy. It's a lot going on and you have to give yourself some of that space. And I'm going to encourage you that in the next couple of weeks, you should focus on these three things because they will be a game changer for how you feel when you wake up in January. It's kind of like taking care of your body and not abusing it and getting enough rest and getting enough nutrition. This is the nutrition your business needs going into the new year. So I want to start with three things that you can do, and they're all related to the finances because this is Keep What You Earn. But these are specific tactical things I want you to do that will move the needle. And you may not appreciate how valuable these things are. And I promise you, if you were to talk to an accountant and say, Shannon told me to do these three things, they would probably nod and go, yep, absolutely. Please do those three things. Number one is catch those books up. So we fall into this habit. If you're a business owner if you're listening to the show, hopefully you've done your bookkeeping this year, but if not, if you've let it slip, if you're a little bit behind, then this is the time to catch up through Q3 at least, right? So going through September 30th, at a minimum, ideally October, since we're already in November, but let's try to catch up at least through September and get ourselves in a position where 3/4 of the year are done. They'll give you a really good head start. Then you can close the final quarter if you need to in January and move forward. You'll still be in a great position to get your taxes done on time and you'll have most of the work done. What people fall into is this trap of, I'm just going to get it done in January. Like you reach out to a bookkeeper in January and you're like, can you do my books? And like, with all due respect, they're going to charge you a butt ton to go do that. They're going to charge you a lot of money because it is go time. It is go time for them to close the books of the people who have paid them all year. This is the busiest time of year for them. So, they're never going to be impolite, but I will. I'll tell you, with all due respect, it is actually quite disrespectful to approach a bookkeeper in January and go, hey, can you do my books for all of last year? And they should charge you a pretty penny for that. And if they're not, and they're saying they're going to do it, then just understand that they are probably pulling some people pleaser thread because that is not the expectation. I think that the expectation should be at least quarterly, maybe monthly. Monthly would be ideal to do your books. But if you're engaging a bookkeeper after the fact and having them go clean it up, that is truly a cleanup or catch-up project. That is cleaning up things. That is not maintenance. That is not their regular fee. And it should cost you more money to go back into time and do that. So catch up those books. Now, I am not here to guilt you because you haven't done it, but I'm here to tell you that doing it makes a hell of a difference for two reasons. One is you're going to have a better relationship with the bookkeeper. You're going to be responsible and proactive and just have a better relationship with them. And number two is you're going to pay less money to have them done. And I'll add number 3, you'll actually be equipped with the data during the year to go make your decisions for your business. It's key. If you don't have your numbers ready, you have no idea how you're performing. You have no idea where your metrics are at. So this is a great time to not only get the books caught up for the sake of preparing for taxes, but also so you can set effective goals. If you're setting goals based on, let's say, a revenue number or a profit number or a cash flow number, how do you know it's realistic if you're not even looking back to see what you've done this year? You know? And we don't want to wait until April when the taxes are filed to find out what the hell happened. You're already into Q2 at that point. So get proactive and let's start talking about our numbers now. And let's start going through and seeing what the data is telling us. That's number 1. Number 2 is you want to secure your tax pro. So that means if right now we've just finished up the tax filing season. So if you filed an extension, then a few weeks ago, you had to file your final return. So chances are you're feeling some kind of way, one way or another, about your tax professional. You either are working with them amicably and you're happy with them and there's nothing wrong, no problems, or maybe you're feeling like, hey, I think I can do better. I think I've outgrown this person. I think I have become a business owner that can do better, do more, or get more advice, get more advisory services. I can expand what they're doing for me. And if that's the case, then this is when you want to secure the new person. Because for 2 reasons. One is this is the down season. This is like the only time of year from October 15th to December 31st. That is the only time that there is not a major tax deadline. That is the only time there is not a major tax deadline happening. So this is the time when, your accountants are approachable and you can say, hey, I would like to lock you in to do my taxes for next tax season. It allows you to get first in line tickets to the show because you're going to be combating a lot of other priorities they have in the new year. And you're going to get your first pick of professional at this point. You'll be able to line up with whoever you want to. Now, you can put a deposit down. I encourage most accountants to ask for some type of deposit to put you on their roster for the next year, but maybe not. So just do what it takes to get on their roster for the person that you want to work with. Now, if you need help with that, I've put out this free offer called Money Pro Matchmaker. You can go to moneypromatchmaker.com. I'll make sure it's in the show notes. And you can actually use it to help you pick a new professional. I specifically released it during this time to help you with this particular step because a lot of people are asking, I want somebody different. I want to work with someone else, but I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know how to evaluate them. What questions should I be asking? How do I interview an accountant? And I'm helping you with all of that. So there's a resource available to you to teach you what type of service you need, what they're called, like what to call the professional, and what types of problems they solve for you or questions they answer for you, along with interview questions that you can ask them to figure out if they're a good fit. So if you want that resource, go to moneypromatchmaker.com. You'll love it, and it will help you with this step 100%. So when we talk about hiring somebody, like I said, you want to be proactive and you want to get on their roster as soon as possible. You do not want to be scrambling, trying to find somebody in the middle of tax season because everybody worth booking is busy and everybody worth booking is booked up. So you're not really going to get your first pick. So it's kind of like applying to college in June before the school year starts. They probably filled up their rosters already. So you're not going to get your first pick. So think about that. Hey, it's Shannon, and I wanted to remind you that the love language of podcasters is reviews. If you wouldn't mind taking a couple of seconds just to leave us a review if you're enjoying this show, we would really, really appreciate it. Okay, back to the show. And then lastly, this one's just like super granular, but most people forget it. And that is to go through. Now, let's assume your books are done through at least September 30th at this point, which is why I mentioned that one first. So assume that's done. What you want to do is go through that. And there's ways to do this in QuickBooks if you have a QuickBooks, or you can have your bookkeeper help you with this. But ultimately, what you want to do is review all of the expenses that you've paid to vendors over the past year. You want to review the vendors you've paid for services, not products, services. And you want to see who have I paid more than $600 to that I paid via cash, ACH, check, Zelle. So meaning not credit card, not PayPal, if you want to slim it down, not credit card, not PayPal. Everything else might be subject to it. So what you want to do is over $600 by any of cash, ACH, check, or Zelle. If you paid through that method and you paid over $600 to a particular business entity that offered you services, then it is likely you will owe them a 1099 in January, which means that you need to get their W-9 to get their information so that your accountant or whoever you have in your team can prepare that 1099. And here's what always happens, even to us, even to our clients, is we get we find out in January that our client paid somebody over $600 through one of those methods, and it's a service. So we go, okay, we need the W-9. And we find ourselves scrambling in the last week before we have to submit the 1099 to get the W-9. And the W-9 gives us information about the person, like their name, their EIN number, their type of entity, the things that we need in order to do the 1099 and to be able to send it to them. And without that, we can't file. So there's a dependency there. So what I recommend everybody do is make it a point by Thanksgiving to go through this year so far, figure out who you're going to owe one to, and just make sure you have all their W-9s on file. Because now if you make sure you have all of that, it's so much easier in January. It's just so much easier. It's less stressful. And like I said, the winter, at least for me personally, I live in New England, so like it's cold, it's rainy, hopefully we'll be in Costa Rica at that point, but it's tricky when you have to deal with all the stress of year end and stress of everything going on. And the winter can be a tough time for people. And it's adding on and layering on stress. And I want to alleviate that for you by giving you a few things, little things you can do to secure. And if you're thinking, Shan, these are not little things, like get all my books done, get a tax pro and get my W-9s, like that's going to take time. I'm here to tell you, no, it won't. No, it won't. If you use the Money Pro Matchmaker to find the right professional, it should take you less than a week after interviewing several people. It should also take you a couple of weeks to get your books caught up if you've literally not done them all year. If you have a dedicated professional working with you, and it should take you a few weeks only because of where we are in the year. If you wait until January, it might take a month. So this is an opportune time to get them done faster. And truthfully, the time that you have to spend is in hiring a bookkeeper to do it for you and just paying them. And then they'll get it done for you. So truthfully, the time that you're spending is just in turning off this podcast, going on Upwork or going on Instagram or going on wherever you go to look for qualified people. And you can say, hey, I need a bookkeeper, or ask your friends. My challenge to you would be text 3 business owners you know right now and say, who does your books? Do you like them? And hire somebody. And again, if you don't like working with them, it's okay. Hire somebody else. We can make it work. You're going to work with different professionals as you grow your business and as your priorities change. So understand that this is not a massive commitment to a professional to work with long-term. It doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. You should just hire someone that can get the job done that you need done, and you will evolve along with your professionals. It's totally fine. It's more important that the work gets done than it gets done perfectly. And that sounds funny for coming from someone who's a detail-oriented accountant, but it's true. I would rather have books done than not done, period. Even if they have minor flaws, it's better than nothing. And ultimately, if you can just go through your transactions, especially if you have QuickBooks or you have a bookkeeping platform, you'll be able to get that W-9 data together really quickly. And if you have someone already helping you like a bookkeeper, just put that in their scope that they have to help you with that. And yes, that will take an investment probably, but what's your time worth? What's your peace of mind worth? What's your stress worth at the end of the year? It shouldn't cost you that much. And I go through that again in the Money Pro Matchmaker, is like how much to really spend on this and what makes it worthwhile and how to evaluate for that. So if your time is worth money and you could be generating income, or truthfully, if you could just be enjoying your time, having peace of mind, figure out what that's worth to you. People are so hesitant to invest in people to help them with, their bookkeeping or their finances. But the truth is, if you're not investing in someone to do it for you or to support you with it, then you're going to invest in the training, or you're going to invest the time in having to pick up the pieces. It happens every single time. So to avoid that, which is what I want for you, I would highly recommend hiring someone to help you before the end of the year with all of this. And if you need more support, do not hesitate to reach out and ask me any questions you have about this. We're happy to help you find the right professional or recommend different approaches for you or what type of solution you need. So when it comes to tax strategy, my philosophy is that I would rather you master your tax plan than implement some crazy strategies you're learning off of TikTok and Instagram. And that's why we use power sessions to dedicate some time with you to create a pro forma tax return. This enables you to predict your tax outcome, to take the surprise out of that surprise tax bill, and to enable you to use your resources better instead of overpaying Uncle Sam. If you're interested in learning more, check the link in the show notes to learn more about our power sessions.